Okay, so I didn't really feel like the last video I really finished it. I want to wire it some more so that it has as much as the winter as possible for the branches to sit in and be in the shape I want once the spring arrives and I have to take off the wire. So I'm gonna wire all the trees in this video, and I'm gonna do it in real time so there's no time lapse. And hopefully you can use this information for something. I'm gonna start with the big one here. And the way I have learned it is that when you apply a wire to a bonsai tree, it is important that you wire it to 2 branches. So when you have to bend the branches in the way you want, it has to stabilize on rely on another branch so it doesn't move around and ruin the bark on the tree once you do the different branches. And I want these lower 2 branches to point down and sort of be the arms in a hug of this tree. Like when it's pointing towards you, you feel like you're hugged by the tree, sort of like this way. And I'm using aluminum wire here because that's what I got. I don't have any copper wire, which is also good and used sometimes. Let's see here. Applied it. This one down as well. Let's see here how this looks. Definitely better. Looks like these. The point is for these branches to look like they're old branches and they're pointing downwards because of their own weight, which of course they really aren't. It's just about perspective, and what bonsai is basically about, making the tree look old. There. Looks nice, I think. I always have the issue close to the trunk that it's hard to bend in here, and I'm considering if I need to use the branch splitter so the branches will be easier to bend, but I think I'm gonna not do that this time. These two close to each other. Maybe I need these branches. This wire might be a bit too thick for these branches because it's really easy to bend these branches with this wire, but it's better to be able to do exactly what you want instead of the branch not being able to bend, like in this coincidence. So that's why I sometimes like to use a wire that's a little bit too thick, because sometimes I end up putting on wire that's not thick enough, and then you can't really bend the branch as you want. So this might look a bit thick, but it really gets the job done. But let's see, that's not the right structure. Maybe I need to cut this one off. Probably, actually, yeah. I think I'm gonna cut this branch off because it's too close to this one. Doesn't make any sense. You want the next branch from this one, the next branch after this one. I need to be on this side, on the left side of the tree, because for the scenic view it doesn't look correct with this branch. So I'm gonna cut this one off. Let's see where this leaves me. I'm gonna apply this one here instead. You always wanna be very close, hold on with your fingers to where you wrap it around the branch so that it doesn't break. You can't hold in here and do it all the way out in the tip of the branch. You need to be very close to where you're applying the wire so it doesn't break. And again, the same problem. It's hard to bend here. Further up the tree. This one's the one I'm gonna cut off. I'm gonna cut it off while I remember to do it. And I use these pliers. And you wanna cut off the branches as close to the trunk as possible. This way the tree will heal the best way, and don't leave it. It'll leave the scar as small as possible if you cut very close to the branch, and this clamp is very useful for this. More wires. It's gonna be applied here. Yes. And once the spring comes around and I need to take off the wire, it's going to be all about pruning, because as you can see there's a lot of branches being thicker than I want them to be, and you want the lowest branch to be the thickest and then thinner and thinner and thinner. And I have some big thick ones up here that needs to be thin, so once they sprout I'm going to cut them, prune them back very toughly, because I don't want them to be too thick. It's probably going to be a follow-up video once it sprouts and I'm starting to repot it as well. The last two in the top, I'm just going to adjust the camera angle so it's visible against the sky. Again, this wire is a bit too thick for this branch, but the other one here has a thick part, and I really want to make sure I'm able to bend it, so that's why I'm using this thick wire. Let's go. Oh, great. Sorry about that. That's a good general branch structure in my opinion. Again, prune these off so that the lower branches are longer than the top ones. That makes it here. Good spot. This one is also too long. There we go. And there we actually have it. So far so good. There's the general structure of this tree. Maybe I'll do some time lapse on the rest of the trees. I see this video getting longer than I expected. The next tree I wanna work on in the forest is gonna be this one, this tree, and it's sort of in the background, so bear with me. I don't know how good the movie is gonna be through the trees, but I can't repot them right now as I'm waiting for my soil, and therefore it's in the background. I don't want to film it from behind while I wire the front side. Next tree I'm gonna work on, and this is this one that fell absolutely on its own naturally in this pot, and I wanted to stay like this when I repot it, so I'm just gonna wire down the branches while they're very thin and easy to work with, so this actual branch from this trunk becomes the tree, and it can continue lying down in the forest once I repot it and rearrange it. And there is the basic branch structure on this fallen tree in the forest. I hope it will turn better once it grows a bit more, because it's gonna need a lot more work. Next tree I'm gonna focus on is this one. Just gonna try to find a placement for the camera. And that is this one. The taper is gonna need some more work, but the general work is done. And the last tree in the forest I wanna do something about is this one, which I'm gonna have to pick a front side off. I don't know how. I'm just realizing that I should have done this with the plastic bag from the beginning, but you execute and you learn, so that's what I'm doing. Yes. Currently I don't know what to do with this one. I'm considering just butchering these two, cutting these two branches off, because this is way too thick compared to this one, which is the lowest and should be the thickest, and then just use the rest of the taper right here and then bend it forward so we straighten the tree a bit more. But now I'm just gonna straighten the taper and work from there, and then during the season I'll consider if I should cut these two off or let them stay on. Last modification of this video, I think, at least. Really don't know if I want to cut this branch off. As you can see, it's way thicker than the lowest one, and also the issue is this tree is not at all the biggest in the forest, and this is one of the thickest branches in the forest, so I think I have to cut it off to make the proposition look good. I'll make that decision once repotting comes around in the spring, in a month or two. But I hope you liked this video and that it was informative. You got some tricks to work on your large forests or just forests in general, remember to get the perspectives right and correct. Biggest trees needs the biggest branches, smaller trees the other way around, etc. But we'll see what I make of this one. It'll look way better once I get all the front sides facing the correct way in this forest. And this tree I need to work on as well. Once it gets standing, I'm not gonna have that lying as well as the other one, because the odds out of 11 trees in the forest that 2 would be falling, it's not as great as 1, I think. Or at least I think, I don't know. Probably the possibility is probably still there. But here we go.